You are listening to the award-winning WHCM 88.3 FM, Palatine, Illinois, a broadcast station of Harvard College and its Board of Trustees. And welcome to the J&J Etc Show. Actually, we're going to be tonight, calling ourselves the J&R Etc Show tonight, as Jared is taking the night off here. So he's going to be off for a couple of weeks here because the station's going to be closed next week here due to our construction of our new studio. So this is going to be the last time that I'll be broadcasting here in the way the studio looks today here. So if you are tuning in here on YouTube Live, you can see what I'm talking about, because it'll definitely look a lot more different here in the coming weeks. So hope everybody had a great week. I've had a very rough month, but we won't talk about that too much. So just to go over what we're going to be talking about tonight here, because we're going to get into some racing. Yes, I said racing. Do a little bit of change of pace here on the J&J Etc Show. So we're going to be talking with a good buddy of mine. You actually probably heard him if you were tuning in months ago here, back in September when we were still doing this, started doing this show. My friend RUSS GEMINN. You actually would know him from Nightmare on North Street, Nightmare on Chicago Street. He's one of my best haunting buddies here, and he is also very deep into the whole racing thing. So we're going to be talking with him this evening about a lot of things here, whether it be NHRA, drag, all types of drag racing, NASCAR, so you name it, he knows about it. So anyways, also during this evening show here, we will throw in a couple of Freaks of the Week, and we will also talk about this day in history. Jared was actually nice enough to send that to me earlier today, so we'll try to get that in there somewhere along the line. But in any case here, I guess we can probably just kind of get into things here. How you doing, Russ?
I'm doing well, Joe. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. Thanks a lot for coming on with us again.
Absolutely.
Jared conveys his hellos. He is listening to us live here on 88.3 FM, and people can also listen on harborradio.com, listen live, and you are on YouTube Live here, so say hi to the camera.
Hello there. Hello there. Worldwide.
Yeah, we're worldwide radio. Believe it or not, you're not far off here. When Erica was in Israel, I told her you should try tuning in while you're abroad, because you can catch us anywhere in the world.
Because you're on the web.
On the web.
On the World Wide Web.
Yes. www.
Right.
Yeah. So I was thinking. Last time you and I were together here, we obviously talked a lot about the haunts, but we had discussed at that time that we were going to have you come back and talk some racing. Mm-hmm. So here we are.
Yes.
Now,
speed things up for tonight.
Exactly. We're going to hopefully speed things along here, and this show will probably go a lot quicker than I'm planning on here, just knowing how things go with me. Before we get into deep, the thoughts and ideas presented on this show are my own, and actually our own, and are not necessarily reflective of the opinions of WHCM, Harvard College Board of Trustees. Yeah, I say those disclaimers every so often. Mm-hmm. So I, over the weekend, I was trying to kind of get myself a little bit acclimated, because I'm admittedly not, a diehard racing fan, though I like watching NASCAR. Sure. I've actually watched the last few races this year, as a matter of fact. I'm looking forward to the street race, which we'll talk about a little bit later here in Chicago. It's coming to Chicago this July. But I actually took some time to watch some NHRA drag racing.
Okay. What'd you think?
Wow.
Yeah.
It was very, very wow. I mean, just watching, especially with the graphics that they have, today, watching just the cars take off like that.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like amazing. But then they showed in slow motion, and you see that just watching the wheels,
the
rear
crinkle
wheels
of the tire.
I mean, it's like talk about like contracting.
Uh-huh.
It's like, wow.
Yep. Yep. The tires are definitely a big part of the racing when it comes to drag racing, because if they don't stick, they're just going to smoke.
So, all right. So I guess tell me a little bit about the nuts and bolts of
Drag racing.
drag racing.
Okay, drag racing. We don't know why it's called drag racing. You can never get a definition. So drag racing could be drag, I won. Drag, I lost. Drag, it's a Sunday. We're putting it in the trailer. Drag is just part of it. So when it comes to that, normally you're racing another opponent. You go to a starting line, and there's what they call a Christmas tree.
Uh-huh.
You go up to the line, you bring both lights in, and the light turns green, and you take off and you go. Now, me and you can do this. Anybody can do this with any kind of car.
Sure.
So it's a matter of picking your opponent that you want to race. And the kind of racing, there's many different styles, many different classes of racing.
Mm-hmm.
The class of racing that I follow is the top class, NHRA.
Right.
Top fuel, funny car, pro stock, motorcycle. That's enough. That's enough. Some alcohol drivers, it just depends on what the ranking and how they're doing is how much I follow them.
So when you talk about alcohol drivers, you talk about the alcohol type fuel.
Yep. They run on alcohol with a little bit of nitromethane in them, or just alcohol in general. Nitromethane is in the top fuel cars, and that's what makes the flames come out the side and the power, and increases horsepower because it's being shoved through the engine at a crazy rate of fuel, and they go really fast on nitromethane. That's, as far as speeds, Joel, you're talking from zero to 1,000 feet. Okay, you're going 1,000 feet in this kind of racing.
Right.
You're sitting still, and you're waiting for that tree to turn green.
Right.
And you hit the big loud pedal, as they call it in drag racing, and 3.86 seconds, you're at the finish line.
Wow.
3.86. Now, over the weekend, when I was watching, they were running 3.68, 3.69. It just depends on where they are in the country. Depends on how well the car will run, because different atmospheric conditions do different things to the engine, as we'll say. You go up to Colorado, totally changes how it runs, because there's no air in Colorado. You're a mile up.
Right.
So it changes the way that car will run. Places like Florida, Arizona, where they've ran already, they run great speeds because the air is dry this time of year, and they run on air.
So what if you're dealing with humid conditions?
Humid conditions, they just adjust the car. They adjust the car differently, the way they tune the engine. It's such a precise, I don't even know how they do it. They got a computer that they look at and they do things there, but I just know they go fast.
Wow.
And being there, you can watch them on TV. If you got surround sound, put it on surround sound. Okay? Crank it up.
Crank it up.
But when you're there, that's a whole different environment, because when nitromethane burns, okay, I got a shirt that says nitro junkie on, okay?
Love it.
It's give me fuel, give me fire on the back.
Uh-huh.
And it's the smell of the fuel will make you cry. You can't breathe, you can't see, but you are having the greatest time at the drag strip, okay? It just is part of drag racing, and to smell the tires and the fuel, it's all part of it. Then you get to feel these cars, because when they take off, it is 12,000 horsepower per car launching at the starting line. So when you feel 12,000 horsepower, here, watch my Gatorade. Car takes off.
Oh, wow.
It'll vibrate down the grandstand. I've had drinks next to me that ended up 2 seats over after the car goes by. I go to reach for something to drink, and it's way over there.
Wow.
It's just a great. It's one of those sports that you got to be there, you got to try it and see it, smell it, feel it. There's videos online of people watching drag racing for the first time. They are blown away by it, literally.
Believe me, it was blowing me away when I was just watching, a little bit of it over the weekend. So obviously, I know about, you probably would be able to explain this a lot better than I can. So, how many different types of drag race cars are there? I mean, I know you got the funny car.
Well, that's where I'm talking classes. The top classes, You have a dragster, which is the long car with the wing.
Okay.
And then you have the funny car, the one that looks funny when they lift up the top. Okay, that's how
Gotcha.
it got its name. Funny
I-
car. Look
I
at the
fa-
funny looking
yeah.
car. See what they did there?
Yes.
And then you have what they call Pro Stock. And that Pro Stock car is a stock car, like what me and you buy, with a giant engine and a lot of computer stuff that makes it go fast. Well, not so much computer stuff. They do things to these cars. They're amazing what they do to these cars.
Now, that stock car that you're talking, is that sort of like in the same lanes of like a NASCAR stock car, or is that or
No,
really
two different.
lane?
Yeah, two different lanes.
Okay.
This car is made to go straight and fast. NASCAR's got to turn. You know, we
Gotcha.
got to turn left and sometimes right in NASCAR.
Oh, that's for sure.
Drag racing, you don't want to turn. You start turning at 300 miles an hour.
I gotta tell you, you must have to have a monumental control of these things, especially when you're. I mean, I was watching some of the weaving that's going on.
Yep.
I mean, is it
It's a monster. They have to tame a monster. They have this little butterfly wheel that
Right.
they have to control and drive that car for 4 seconds. And hold on.
It's like holding on for dear life.
8 G's when they take off, and
Uh-huh.
another, I think, 9 when the parachute comes out the other way. So you're pushed in the seat one way, then the parachute comes out. They're not moving because nowadays they're so part of that car. Years ago, they were flopping all over the place.
Okay.
And the safety of it, that's the amazing part. They can go 300, crash, and survive.
I want to definitely get into that safety part here. So we're going to take a short break, but when we come back here, let's start talking about some of the safety aspects here, because I really would
Absolutely.
like to find out more about that. We are listening to the J&J Etc Show, actually the J&R Etc Show for tonight. Joel and Russ. We'll be back here in a few minutes.
Tens of thousands of people attend community
Not bad
college
for a first
every
start.
year. But what do they do after? I'm Brian Shelton. I host Harper Talks, a show where we talk to alumni from Harper College and find out what they did after community college. The show airs every Thursday at 2 p.m., but you can also find and subscribe to the show on all major podcast platforms. Harper Talks is a co-production of the Office of Alumni Relations and Harper Radio. I hope you'll join me for the next exciting episode of Harper Talks.
It's not that I didn't want to get a degree, but the circumstances and finances just didn't work out at the time. Now I have a job and kids, and fitting in a class on top of that sounds nearly impossible. Maybe it's just too late.
It's never too late to get a degree, Laura, and fitting classes between your responsibilities may be easier than you think. Harper welcomes adult students and offers an adult learning information session to present your options for courses, certificates, and degree programs that fit in your busy schedule. Learn more on the Harper College website.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
We are back. We are back here at WHCM 88.3. It is about 7:16 in the evening. The J&R show for tonight with Joel and Russ.
Hello.
And oh yes.
Hello.
Got to turn your mic on.
Yeah, I didn't hit that button, Joel. That's you.
I know. I take full ownership of the control board here. I can't even blame Jarrett for this one. He's not here to take the blame.
Yep. You got the buttons tonight.
In any case here, real quick here, quick weather forecast. We are going to be clear this evening. There's a few clouds out there. Low of 28. Tomorrow is going to be 50
Nice.
with mostly cloudy, of course. And then Friday, scares, thunderstorms, high of 64. So it's going to actually get a little balmy.
I'll take that.
Yeah, so will I. And then the jokes just start rolling in here. You got rain and snow on Saturday, April 1st.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that a joke or is that for
No,
real?
that's for real.
So the joke's on us.
The joke is on all
April
of us.
1st, we get
April
snow.
1st, of course.
Yep.
And then Sunday, mostly sunny, high at 55. All right. So where we left off here, we were about to talk about the safety aspect of these race cars here. So
Yep.
I guess first of all, tell me a little bit about, because the first thing you said was the parachutes when those come out here. Obviously, that's helped slow the car down.
Right.
Is that the only braking system they have there, or do they have brakes that they actually use at the same time?
It if necessary, if it's a short shutdown as they call it, because at the end of the race tracks, they're only so long. Some older tracks have been shortened, or back in the day they weren't running this fast, so that track isn't that long. So that's why they shorten the track up to 1,000 feet. But as far as safety, when if the car fails, there's safety systems on it to shut the fuel off and if something happens to the driver outside, driver gets knocked unconscious because of a concussion in the car, boom,
Right.
it blows up. Whew. Automatically, the brakes will kick in, parachute is launched, and fuel is cut off to the engine as far as that goes, bringing hopefully the car to a safe stop. Okay. Other than that, safe run. They pop the parachutes. There is a brake for the back tires. They don't want to use them because they're big tires and they're just 300 miles an hour. You're not using brakes.
I didn't think so.
You'll use them if the parachute didn't pop, but then you're really on these brakes that aren't made to stop a car like that. Parachute's supposed to do that.
Now, have you ever seen a race where the parachute didn't deploy?
Yes. It's not pretty, but
I can
most.
imagine.
Well, there's been death because of that. There's been accidents that you go, how did they even walk away from it? Some tracks have what they call a sand trap with a catch net, so they go into the net, and then if they go past the net, they'll go into the sand, which slows them down. So
Right.
you don't want to go in the sand though, because then you got to clean your car, clean your bike, clean whatever you just crashed, right? So
Exactly.
you're trying to avoid it, but speed, sand will slow you down. The gravel will slow you down. So, the NHRA was designed or started because back in the 50s and 60s, 50s, we know they were drag racing on the street. That's how it all started back in the day. The old street racers. Well, they said, let's get off the street. Let's go someplace called a drag strip and race.
A controlled environment.
Yes, to where we're not killing people on the street, basically, is what it comes down to.
Makes sense.
So Wally Parks started the sanctioning of NHRA, and has several tracks across the country. And these guys, it's like a traveling circus. They from one to the next to the next to the next, and go around the country all year long. They'll be coming to Joliet in May. I'm going.
Are ya?
I am. Can't wait. Need
Cool.
my nitro fix.
So do you get? So is there? At Joliet, is there a bad seat in there, or are they all
No.
pretty good seats?
Every seat in the house is good because they're a newer track, at least in 20. What year did they come in?
Is that the same track where they were
99.
having the NASCAR races there?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
2000, somewhere around there, they came in.
Okay.
And they designed their seats to be like a V. So at the starting line, you're like this. At the finish line, or what would be towards the finish line, the seats taper out. So you can go like this as the car goes past you at 3 seconds. You're only looking at this car for a total of, I think, 2 minutes and 40 seconds,
if you
maybe
blink,
3 minutes.
if you blink, you miss it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you will. You won't catch it on a. You're not watching this on a smart camera. Boom, you missed the whole thing. You do, because it goes by so quick. 300 feet, they're trying to get to 299 in 300 feet. Okay? That's
insane.
Yeah, it's insane speed because they get to 299, then they just got to get to 330. They run 330 all the time. That's their normal speed now, 330 miles an hour. Which there is no faster accelerating vehicle on planet Earth than these cars. Which, when you think about it, that's insane.
You're right about that.
I went to Vegas, okay?
Uh-huh.
Had a good time in Vegas. My first time to Vegas, I wanted to go to Vegas to see drag racing because, of course, Vegas has got a great track. What kind of track do they have? They have 4 wide.
4 wide?
4 wide. So they call it 4 wide drag racing because 4 cars take off to drag race.
Wow.
And now you're talking 12,000 horsepower per lane. Can you take that times 4, Joe?
That is
48,000
horsepower. Wow.
when they hit the gas pedal. Now, I wanted to feel that because,
I'll bet.
well, it's me, Joel. You know me.
Hey, speed.
The Gatorade bottle left when they
Yeah,
launched,
right.
okay? There was no... my entire body shook. My eye socket shook. It was insane. That it was so great. And that's what drag race, you got to feel it. If you like that kind of thing, it's definitely... a lot of people enjoy it, and the stands have been packed at every event so far this year, and that's awesome to see. I can't wait to go to Joliet because I want to see the same thing.
Oh,
So,
cool.
yes.
Now you mentioned here that they've obviously taken a lot of safety precautions, and you said that when if something goes wrong here, everything like shuts down.
Absolutely.
Now, when things go fine at the end of that track,
Of
when
the
they're
race,
and
right.
when the parachute deploys here, now does the vehicle shut down then as well, or is
Yeah.
it still running?
No, it's all shut down. Everything shuts down electronically, fuel shut off. The car
Okay.
comes to because it's such an aggressive car, I mean, you just ask this thing to start up and run 330 miles an hour at 1,000 feet. So this thing is smoking and gargling
Right.
and gurgling, and oil might be popping out of it. It's smoking hot. There's not a cooling system on it. The nitromethane is what keeps it cool. Okay?
And if that malfunctions, oh boy.
Oh, there's a big explosion. I mean, check out YouTube for NHRA. They walked away videos, okay?
NHRA disasters.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Well,
there
you can pretty much find everything on YouTube here. So
yeah, and there's guys that when they blow up on funny car, they're encased inside this fiberglass body. Now they have to stop a car that's going 300 miles an hour with oil on the tires and probably a parachute that's burning up. So now you have another beast on your hands that you weren't expecting because all of a sudden it blew up. You were running great until boom. And it's an amazing sport. And I'll say, going to this, I've been going since I was a little kid. My dad started taking me when I was a little kid. Met all the big
Gotcha.
drivers, the Don Perdomes, Shirley Muldowney's, Don Garland, met them all back in the day. Now I take my grandson, and he was way little when I started taking him. Great place, great sports event because you don't have any disrespect there. People are very nice. I've been going since 5 years old. I used to race with my dad. Now I own his car. We'll get to that later.
sure.
But never met a jerk at the racetrack. You can be a jerk at the racetrack, but I've never met a guy being a jerk at the racetrack. You know what I mean? It's a place that it doesn't happen. There's too much love for the cars.
Right.
And it could be a junk car that you think, man, that thing's a pile of junk. What's it doing here? And then it flies down the racetrack.
Exactly.
It's just the car. We're there for the entertainment of the speed of it, whether it be a motorcycle, snowmobile, go-kart. It goes straight and it goes fast. We like it.
Yeah. Hey, you could easily say, "Hey, I have a face for auto racing. You'll never see me."
Right.
I'll be and here and gone.
Yep.
That-
So yeah, it's to bring, like I say, your family to this kind of event. Great event to bring the family. You can. Another thing I love about it, you go to any sporting event, they're over there. How many times you go to a Cubs game?
I've gone to a few. I mean, I haven't been since the World Series.
Could you walk up to the dugout and ask for an autograph as soon as the game is over? Are they going to give you the time of day?
Not really.
Okay, when these guys get back after they run their car, they tow the car back to their station or their pits,
Right.
and they get out, and at some point before they run again, they're going to be out there 3-4 times signing autographs. You meet the drivers right there. You watch them work on their cars right there. You see everything that they're doing. You want to start it right in front of you? Be in a pit tour for a running of a car. That's cool, Joe. That's called getting nitroed.
Oh,
That's where you become a nitro junkie.
now you're making me want to actually go with you.
I don't think you can handle it, Joe.
You don't think so?
Oh, no.
You think it'd blow
You'd
my
cry.
eardrums out?
You'd cry.
Really?
Yeah, you'd cry. I hope you cry. I'll cry.
Oh, you want me to cry?
Oh, you will cry. You will cry, Joel. I have met grown men just like me, huskier and bigger and badder, and they walk away crying. Remember I told you?
Out
it's
of
a
pure
cool-
enjoyment, or just from
You
the
can't
from
breathe
the
or
fumes?
see. It's burning nitromethane in your face. Scout my Facebook, Joel, because there's
right.
pictures of me in clouds of yellow. That's called nitromethane burning behind me.
Wow.
Yeah, it's something. It really is.
Now, have you ever had the privilege to actually sit in any of these cars?
They have cars on display that you can sit in. So there's mock-up kinds.
Right.
Back in the day when my dad raced, I probably sat in the car that he helped a guy run out at the local track, and
Right.
I'm sure I sat in the driver's seat of that a time or two,
Mm-hmm.
without knowing what I was doing at that time. Over the years, I've sat in Don Garlitz's car.
Yeah.
It was displayed at the racetrack, and if you gave him $10, you could take a picture in his car. I gave him 20. I didn't want to get out.
got that extra 5 minutes. I was say, hey, I'll give you 50 if you let me start it up.
Yeah, can I just hang out while it runs? I won't hit the gas pedal, I promise.
Yeah, Scott's on it, right?
Yeah. No, but
Oh.
it's really cool. It's the whole entire sport, just phenomenal.
Wow.
There's one trophy at the end, the guy that wins. In each class, everybody gets one trophy. There's not a second place.
So there is no second place.
Nope. You win
Okay.
the race because you raced all day against people, and you're the last
Sure.
one who won. So there's one trophy.
Absolutely. All right. So we are closing in around 7:30. Again, you are listening to the award-winning WHCM 88.3 FM, Palatine, Illinois, a broadcast station of Harper College and its Board of Trustees. You are listening to the J&R Etc Show tonight here with Joel and Russ, and we are talking racing. We are going to take a short break, and when we come back here, we are going to just do another deep dive into it here.
Another speedy course of it.
Yeah, another I love the play on words there, right? Oh my gosh, and of course, here we go.
Hey there, early bird. Have you heard the news? Carson Starr here. The Star Spotlight is now on 7 days a week. Monday, Tuesday. 60 minutes of commercial-free music to get your day started right. The Star Spotlight, every day at 6 a.m. here on Harper Radio.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
We're live.
Hi.
Hi.
Sure, we can do this.
Did I catch you off guard?
A little bit.
Oh, that's what you did. Don't worry. The camera wasn't on yet at that time. So
Okay.
now it. Can you hear yourself now?
No.
You can't hear yourself at all.
Yeah, now I can.
Did you break the mic?
No,
Break
this
the-
plug is funny over here.
Well, they are doing a big. Oh, I got to turn my mic on.
Is that the problem?
That was the problem.
So I was hearing
You
you
did-
through this mic.
That's too funny.
Hit the other button.
Yeah, well-oiled machine we have here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's funny. I mean, I'm looking at the at the station here, and I did radio here 30 plus years ago. It pretty much looked the same then, and they are now. I'm sure when you were walking in, you saw some construction there. They're in the process of doing a complete remodel. So where we're sitting here doing my show, this is actually going to become the office.
Okay.
And out there, where you see that little to-go window out there.
Okay. It's going to be the studio.
Yeah, that's going to be where the studio is going to be at. So,
Okay. So
yeah.
they're giving you a little viewing window is what they're doing.
Yep. Or as we were fond to say this week here, Welcome to WCM. Can I take your order?
Sure, sure. Serving number 9. Serving number 9.
Right, right.
Well, with all the traffic out there right now,
exactly.
We'll have to keep the masses back.
Yeah.
Put a little wood up there or
Good.
something to block it off so they're not crawling in through the windows. That's a whole nother Halloween subject.
I'll bet. I'll bet. The thoughts and ideas presented on our show are our own and are not necessarily reflective of the opinions of WHCM, Harper College, and its Board of Trustees. And so we've been talking NHRA racing. We've been talking about the safety aspect of it here, the thrill of the the thrill of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And you're convinced that I will cry bloody murder.
Yeah. And you won't even be able to breathe while you're crying.
How long does that last for, usually?
Depends on how much nitromethane you intake.
Now, okay, so obviously the obvious question here, because this actually would be I'm not sure if Fran's listening, but I know she's an asthmatic. If you're an asthmatic or have any type of breathing issue, this is probably not a good idea, right?
No, it'll clear your lungs right up.
Really?
Sure. It'll clear your sinuses. It clears your lungs. It makes you feel. I don't know about asthma. I'm not a medical doctor. Okay, I don't. But doesn't give me any breathing problem. I mean, you don't want to sit there and you can't breathe it. It's a fume that you shouldn't breathe, but you do because we're drag racing fans. You'll understand, Joel. Okay, you'll understand.
Okay.
Even if you go to a local track and smell what they do there, it's insane. I could say I went to Union Grove. Okay, Union Grove up in Wisconsin.
Right.
They have jet cars. Want to hear a story?
Please.
Me, dummy. This is a dummy me story. Never did this in my life. For years, been going to that drag strip with my dad. We used to race there, blah, blah, blah. So I go there with my buddy Scott, and me and Scott are going to go to the front row because, well, they let you stand right next to the drag strip. I mean, car here, I'm standing right here. That's the lane.
That's just crazy.
It is. When you really think about this thing can go in a million pieces and I'm standing next to it. So I'm cheering on a jet car.
A jet car?
Yep. I have insane video of this. Look up Labor Day a couple years ago. Okay? This jet car, Chicago Fire, Chicago Rush, something like that. He is coming up. And I go, let me have it. Come on, because I'm not the only goofball standing here. There's like 10 of us out of probably 1,000 that are there. And we're standing next to the racetrack, and this jet car is coming up. When they hit the gas on a jet car, they're hitting the afterburner to go forward.
Singe those eyebrows.
When he got next to where we were standing,
yeah,
he hit the afterburner like, I don't know how many times. I lost all mental capability of being human because he sat there and just boom, 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 boom. It's part of the attraction of a jet car when you're in the stands.
Sure.
Sitting right there next to it, most insane thing I ever did in my life. Just to make sure it was insane, I did it the year after, too.
Oh, my God.
I didn't do it twice. They have 2 rounds of racing. I stood there one for 2 cars. And
Wow.
It is insane to stand next to a jet car when it takes off. Funny kind of one thing. But a jet car is a turbine jet out of a jet fighter.
Right.
That they put 4 wheels on, strap a guy in it, send it.
And hope it does not...
They got a big parachute.
Of course, that. I'm just thinking, it's like, as long as it doesn't, like, leave the ground.
Shouldn't. No wings on them. They're just a bullet. There's no wing. All it is a jet facing that way. Hit the afterburner and see ya. Insane. Mm-hmm. They do that at the Union Grove Memorial Day weekend. That would be a fun weekend to go to. That's
Union Grove?
Yep. What? Memorial Day weekend. I go Sunday? Saturday? Depends on what the weekend's doing. Saturday or Sunday, that's the best, Saturday's a better show.
I'll talk to you offline about that. Because I'm actually out. I'm actually on my vacation that whole week before here. That would actually be something.
Well, see, you can just wrap up and have a good ending and cry at the end of it. I'll bring you up to the front row, Joe.
Oh my God!
You wouldn't make it. You wouldn't make it. Yep.
I might have to drag Hunter to that.
Yeah.
He probably wouldn't make it either.
Hunter might. I don't know. He might. Aaron barely, my grandson. When we're at the racetrack, because there's a way of doing this.
Right.
Because if the wind's going that way, you stand over here. Car's starting right here. You stand on this side of the car so the wind takes the smell that way.
So I trusted you would guide me in the right direction here. So
I'm going to put you right behind, right at the rope so you can hear everything they're about to do, Joe. I wouldn't want you to miss a thing.
All right.
We're going to nitro you. It's called being nitroed.
Being nitroed.
Yep. You haven't lived until you've been nitroed.
All right.
Trust me, Joel. Trust me.
This will make for good radio.
Yes. We'll take video and post later. Freddie kind of chimed in there.
Oh, yeah. If Freddie likes it. Oh, yeah. Wow. All right. I may take you up on that.
Yep.
So
and not only with drag racing, that's local. There's all kinds of tracks all the way around the country. Kind of like what NASCAR. Okay, well, we can talk a little bit of NASCAR. I'm fan of one versus the other. I like watching NASCAR on TV.
Right.
Because they got more camera angles than the seat that I own there does.
Oh my God!
The bathroom's a lot.
You're not kidding.
The bathroom's a lot closer. I can hit pause. There's many things that I like about watching NASCAR at home. The feel of it is awesome because when you get 40 cars going by you at 200 miles an hour, because I've been to Daytona, Talladega, Bristol, Joliet, of course, and Indy. I've been to the Brickyard. Great tracks. They're all different tracks, though. One's a half-mile track, one's 2 mile. Daytona Super Speedway.
Right.
And, they come flying by at 200 miles an hour. That
So, all right. So obviously we're segueing into NASCAR. So, I guess the first question I have, and again, I'm speaking as a obvious novice.
You're a rookie.
I am a rookie. Rookie doesn't even begin to describe it. But
you're an apprentice tonight.
Exactly. So you're schooling me tonight.
Okay.
So explain to me what a restrictor plate race is.
What's a restrictor plate race? Wow, I didn't know that years ago. But places like Daytona, Talladega, I don't know if there's another super track, maybe Pocono. They're so big that if you don't restrict how fast the car can go, they'll be flying off the track. So they're allowing on a track that's a 1.5 mile track, okay? Joliet.
Right.
They're not going to get 200 miles an hour down the backstretch. Daytona?
Not enough time, right?
Not enough time. Too short before the corner. Daytona? Line them up, boys. We're going down the super stretch. And you line them up back there, they can go 210 miles an hour in the corner, but they're not going to stick. So speed becomes the problem in that. That's why your Talladega, your Daytona is a restrictor plate type racing, because we don't want them to go that fast. NASCAR don't want them to go that fast. So that allows the engine to only get so much air through that little plate underneath the carburetor, basically.
Right.
If you give it all the air at once, it can, like your car, it responds.
Uh-huh.
On a restrictor plate, they're running around that track with it all the way down, floored, because they want more speed. The only way they can get more speed is if they draft.
Oh, okay. So the drafting. So when a vehicle drafts behind, they're restricting the air flow, right?
Well, yeah, there's less resistance on the back car. The guy up front is punching the hole in the air, and then that air goes over the top of that car, and the car behind him gets in the bubble, and the car behind him, because when you're on a super speedway, everybody's drafting, running real close. But believe it or not, they design these cars in NASCAR so the air rolls off of them. So there's like a little bubble between the car in front and the car in back.
Uh-huh.
And it depends on how you push that bubble. It's really weird. There's a lot of aerodynamics in NASCAR.
I can imagine.
A whole lot of aerodynamics.
So obviously, through the years, because obviously NASCAR is celebrating its 75th anniversary this year. And obviously looking at a lot of the older cars from way back when.
The old Hudson.
Right. So Hudson Hornet. There you go.
There you go. Cars.
So I'm presuming those cars didn't necessarily have to worry about a type of restrictor plates because they weren't able to go that fast. Would that be a fair?
Yeah, they didn't go that fast, and arms were flinging out the windows when they were crashing, because they used to literally drive those cars to the racetrack, put a set of tires on it, call it a car. That's how you went racing back in the day. My dad, his car, he would go to work Monday through Friday in it. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, he was drag racing it. That was his 61 Chevy. So that's what you did in 60s, So, NASCAR, as the legend goes, it started out from the back road boys hauling the moonshine.
Right.
Down south, they had these cars, and they hopped them up so they could run their moonshine in the back roads and not get caught. And then they started bringing them to the racetrack, and they could win money racing them. So it kind of changed over the years, obviously, because they call it a stock car. It don't look like no stock car to me. I don't know where I could get one of those cars. I can't go to my Chevy dealer and pick up one of them cars.
No.
So stock, I don't know. Do we get stickers? Comes with a lot of stickers.
I've noticed that quite a bit.
Yep.
And I've noticed here in probably the last 20 or so years where the cars have really evolved.
Oh yeah.
The car of tomorrow, they once called it.
Yep. They're on the 7th or 8th generation of that car.
Right.
For the car of tomorrow. Which the safety, we all know Dale Earnhardt, right? Dale Earnhardt Sr.
Yep.
Rest his soul.
I remember. I saw the race. I saw what happened.
I was watching it live as well. Still can shed a tear for that man. Great guy, great racer. For him to pass at Daytona, that was incredible for him to, a race that he was able to win once and tried 20-some times.
Right.
And that day, his, Waltrip, and then his son was going to be second, and then he was going to be third.
Right.
He was running defense that day. So, anyways, but, God, he got me sidetracked on the Dale thing. Sorry. Where were we going, Joe? Back me up.
We were talking about the evolution of the car of
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Yeah. So a lot of the safety of the car of tomorrow came from Dale's accident.
Right.
Because they said, we got to fix this car hitting the wall at 200 miles an hour. This is a problem. It can really hurt people. So now they have what they call the safer barrier, to where there's a cushion between the wall and the concrete wall that holds the track. So when you hit this wall, it collapses. When it collapses, it's absorbing the energy, because there's styrofoam blocks that'll break behind that, in that gap area. So that end has gotten safer. The aspect of the car has gotten safer because of all the technology inside of it. A couple years ago, Daytona, at the end of it, there was a really bad crash. Ryan Newman had a car fly around him and hit the pillar, right like where your door closes.
Right.
The car tried to come through, okay, because the car was above him. It's a horrible accident, horrible, but you're winning Daytona.
Didn't that one? Was that the one where they hit the fence?
Oh yeah, there was all kinds of stuff going on that night. That's a whole nother one.
Oh, okay.
That's Austin Dillon that flew through the fence, or Carl Edwards.
Carl Edwards.
I
remember that one.
Yep, went through the fence and then jogged across the finish line, because then he could finish the race officially. His car was in a million pieces back there, but he actually ran across the finish line. It was crazy. He was fine, and he was sailing. But these, and simple aspect, that man hit the fence at Talladega at 200 miles an hour because you want to win Talladega. You're not going to let go of that wheel or get your foot out of the carburetor as you're going for the finish line, right?
Sure.
You've raced 500 miles. You're not going to screw it up the last quarter mile. But then they crash, and stuff happens. And Carl ended up in the wall. The catch fence did its job. It smeared his car destroyed the fence, but kept the car this side. Now, pieces did go in into the crowd, but they weren't chunks. They
Right.
weren't a fender. It wasn't the engine,
Right.
Those parts were on this side of the fence. A crash at Daytona one time at the end. Austin Dillon he caught the catch fence. His front of his car caught the catch fence
Right.
at 200 miles an hour. And because energy is energy, it kept going and did things over there. His engine was sitting in the fence smoking. His car was over there, and he's tumbling and all this. Safety Safari fly up to him. He got out of the car and waved to everybody to show him he was okay.
Oh man.
I mean, this guy's car was destroyed.
Wow.
And it's we go to races, that kind of races for the crash.
Okay.
It's the excitement of them going by and when are they going to crash? Smaller tracks, it's not as big a crash. Chicago, speaking of NASCAR, they're coming to Chicago, right?
Yep. And actually, we're going to get to that in a moment here. I got to take a quick break here. 88.3 FM, the J&R Etc Show.
Harper Radio presents Live at Scratched Vinyl. Friday, April 21st at 6:30 p.m. Join us as we showcase the local talent of Jenny Stark and Andrew Robert Palmer in a live acoustic set. Hear both of these artists perform in the intimate space of Scratched Vinyl in Barrington, Illinois. Show starts at 6:30 p.m. on Friday, April 21st. Event is free for all ages. No reservation required. Live at Scratched Vinyl. Presented by Harper Radio. Radio done differently.
Have you been hopelessly spinning the dial looking for some great 80s music? Well, look no more. Mondays at 7 a.m., Planet 10 Radio has a variety of 80s music for an awesome start to your week. Alternative, pop, rock, and more. Only on the award-winning WHCM, the Harper College Music Machine.
And we are actually the best station in the nation, according to the Illinois Broadcaster, the International Collegiate Broadcasting.
You could say that.
Yeah. Erica says it so much better to me. Yes, but yeah, we won best community college in the nation.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, I'm honored to be here.
Yes, and the best station in the nation.
Wow.
WHCM.
That's a pretty good title.
It is. Yep. Glad Erica thought of it. You thought I'm sucking up to the boss.
Has anybody else got this award? Or is this just an award that we get?
No, they actually went to New York, and there was an award ceremony. We were nominated for a few different categories. As a matter of fact, we have a show on Thursday nights. Streamingverse was also nominated for best talk show and won.
Oh, I'm sure this is going right to the.
Yeah.
This is going to the what is that? Library of Broadcast.
Library of Congress.
Yeah, is that what it is? We're going to put it right in a file because this is just.
Oh, it's going to go into a file somewhere. Yeah. Not sure it's a file you're thinking of.
Right, could be a circular file. Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's probably where it will end up eventually, but But hey, we're going to be hopefully, as long as I'm not say anything stupid or saying or actually playing anything that is copyrighted.
Do that.
Yeah. So hopefully this will remain on YouTube for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
So again, thanks to everybody who is listening to us here at harperradio.com or at 88.3 FM or watching us on YouTube Live. Joel and Russ and yeah, huh?
I said hi to the camera again.
You said hi to the camera? Okay. Yeah. So where were we? You were talking about the Car of Tomorrow.
And we were going to Chicago.
You were going to Chicago, yes. So this is, I guess, what the first ever street race. Is this a first for NASCAR in this respect?
In street race?
Because I know they have road courses. I just watched a road course
Yes,
race last weekend.
You know what? You are. This is the first street race. I didn't even think of that. They've had road courses, but this is going to be their first ever. I mean, they've raced. Daytona started on the beach back in the day.
Of course it did.
Oh, no, literally.
I believe you.
It was
I
on
believe
the
you.
beach is what they raced before.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know of any road course or actual street that they've done ever. And on my end of it, I go, all right, how do you I was questioning. Because in racing, you say, hey, around corner 2, my car does this, and then they do things to it, and all of a sudden around corner 2, it doesn't do that anymore. I don't know what they do to it. It's the complaint of the driver to the pit guy, and they do their thing, and it makes it drive better. Okay?
Yeah, I got my education on that. I'm watching Days of Thunder.
Sure. Okay. All right. So at least you got some education there.
Some education.
How do you, I have this, when I heard it's going to Chicago, amongst a couple other things that might happen, let's keep it to race thinking. Hey, crew chief, I got a problem in corner 4, because there's 12 corners. I got a problem in corner 4. I can't get out of the pothole. How do you tune the car to get over the pothole? How are we going to fix this?
Don't go there.
What, just avoid the tight corner? Even on one part of the track, it's kind of interesting. On Balboa, they go right at each other, and then one goes this way, one goes that way. Is the way the track is set up. They turn 90 degrees away from each other. I hope there's a big wall there. It can get ugly.
I'm just imagining that. So have you seen the configuration of how it's supposed to look?
Yeah. They've got it on. You can a street view. They give street view for it all over the place. You can go online and look.
So
at
how
it.
many laps is this going to be?
On Saturday for the Busch race, it's 121, and Sunday it's 221.
221 laps. Okay, so they're basically going around the streets. It's basically kind of like.
Well, not around the streets. They're downtown by. Are you familiar with Buckingham Fountain?
I am.
That's the start-finish line.
Really?
Okay. They go down there to Jackson, Balboa, and I forget the one down here because they got to get back on the Lakeshore Drive, and it's kind of a weird turn, and then they're doing things going back down.
Like they go near Navy Pier as well?
No, they're not that far down.
No, not that far down.
No,
okay.
Jackson, I think, is as far north as they go because they're in front of the Congress Hotel. They go down to the Hilton, right in that little chunk right there.
I guess I have to look at the
Yeah,
how the setup is because I'm just trying to picture it here and I'm just getting a headache thinking about it.
Well, it's probably going to have a 12-foot wall around it. I've checked for tickets. They're not cheap.
Well, I heard you get one of the best seats of the house yourself.
Well, I'm hoping a friend of mine pays off, and his friend does live on the racetrack with a view, is what I'm hoping. At least I was told, hey, will you go if, and I'm like, yeah, I'll go if I can see it from his front yard. I'm in. I'll know in July. Right now you can get a ticket.
It's July 1st and 2nd here. I mean, I would let you know before that.
I'm hoping. Well, he's kind of a squirrel to catch up to, so you never know.
Wow.
He could be my brother. He could be my brother. Another nut I hang out with.
You're just his full nuts, aren't you?
I've got a couple in the back pocket there.
So, all right. So,
yeah, NASCAR Chicago should be fun. It'll be different.
I wonder what the top speed is going to be.
Probably a couple, maybe 150, 160 tops, because the front stretch isn't that long. The stretch of.
I mean, I was watching the I'm trying.
Texas.
No, well, it was in Texas. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the name of the track was, but I was watching it. I think the top speeds were maybe 90 or 95.
Yeah, maybe even 100, depending on where
straightaways there.
Yeah, because they're only going a short distance, and then they got to first gear it to go around that 90-degree corner.
Right. Oh my gosh! It just watching that bottleneck at start every single time they start up there. That first turn.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, cars are spinning or...
Well, you got to get 40 cars in one spot, and they want the first spot.
Exactly.
They want to
exactly.
lead. The guy in 40th wants to be first. So there's just 39 positions in the way of him doing that.
I could just imagine how many cameras they're going to have, for this race in Chicago.
It'll be insane.
Insane.
And it's one of those that I'd like to hear the running of it downtown, the sound of it. You go to the air show. You ever been to the air show downtown?
It's been a long time, but yes, I went one time with a
So
friend of mine.
you watch the jets fly through downtown and the roar of it.
Right.
Imagine what 40 race cars are going to sound like on the lakefront.
It's going to sound like an earthquake's going on.
Just amongst the buildings and just that echo.
The reverberation alone.
It should be insane. It should be, and I'm sure they're going to do a parade down through downtown to make it all spectacular and all that stuff. So, it'll be an interesting weekend for Chicago and NASCAR. I never thought I'd see. And, I was kidding earlier about the potholes, but that was a serious question about mine. So, believe it or not, I go to the parade.
Right.
I happen to know a guy that I go to the parade. You've heard about this, right?
Sure.
I go to the Chicago parade.
Uh-huh.
And I'm standing there waiting, and I see the NASCAR float, because they're going to promote NASCAR in Chicago, right?
Right.
So, curious me, let's go up and talk to the float people. Hey, float people, are you just float people, or are you real NASCAR people, is what I want to know. And they look at me and go, we're NASCAR people. Well, can I ask you a serious question? And they said, what? I said, how are you going to fix pothole in corner 3? And I can't tune my car to that. And they said, we're repaving all the roads for the race.
They'd almost have to, right? I mean,
you can't go into corner 3 with a pothole.
No, you're
this isn't dirt racing,
right? You're basically just asking to break an axle. Yeah,
break something.
Oh, break something. All right. Oh my God.
But it should be interesting. It'll be, and the Taste of Chicago moved the date because of that race. It's always 4th of July weekend. NASCAR kicked them out of the way. That's
this is the revenue alone is going to.
It should do something.
It's going to thump whatever they would make from the Taste of Chicago.
They say Lollapalooza will make more money
than the NASCAR race.
There's a lot of infrastructure to this because you're closing off roads and repaving and blocking them so parts don't leave the racetrack and go into buildings.
Right.
We don't want that to happen, but certainly would make front page.
Yeah, Fender landed in Buckingham Fountain.
And you know where they came up with this concept? During 2020. The COVID, some kid got on the computer and designed a race to go through Chicago. They made a game console out of it and thought it looked great in real life. Yep, let's do that for real downtown Chicago.
Oh my gosh!
I hope nobody's car gets hijacked while they're doing tires or anything.
Well, I hope not either.
That would be horrible, but
that would be
make great TV.
Definitely would make for great television. You are listening to the award-winning WHCM 88.3 FM, Palatine, Illinois, a broadcast station of Harvard College as Board of Trustees, and you are listening to the J&R Etc Show this evening here with Joel and Russ. And the thoughts and ideas presented on the show are our own and not necessarily reflective of the opinions of WHCM, Harvard College, or its Board of Trustees. Not that we were talking about a lot of opinions tonight anyway,
no,
right?
We're not. We don't
and
have
we're just talking racing.
We're
and
just
rubbing
talking
and racing. Yes.
Crashes and safety and loudness and crying when Joel goes to the racetrack.
You really want to see me cry, don't you?
I think I've already.
You'd pay money to see me cry.
I think I've seen you cry once in the past.
Once?
Laughing.
Well, yeah, that's not so hard. that's
candy.
Want some candy? I got your candy right here. So all right, now I want to talk about one other type of track that NASCAR is on. I think that's in Bristol in a couple weeks here. It's Bristol Dirt. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they've raced at Bristol for years.
Yes.
So
great little track. 500 laps.
So what are they doing? Are they just putting dirt on top of the track for this particular race?
Yep. The first year they did it, it was mud.
See, I missed that.
I
wish
it wasn't on TV because for some reason it didn't work. I don't know. Maybe the cameras got too muddy. They didn't broadcast it, or it happened on Monday. Something I don't know.
Oh, what, because it rained out the day before?
Yeah.
Oh.
So the first one was just a nasty mud race. Second time they went, got better. Now, I have a buddy who I'll say, Dennis Erb Jr., right out of Carpersville, Illinois. He races super late model racing, which, if you've ever been out to Sycamore Speedway or Santa Fe back in the day.
I was at Santa Fe like once or twice many years ago.
Okay, well, they're the really fast cars that got to turn right to go left.
Right.
They fishtail, go real fast.
Uh-huh.
Well, Dennis runs around the country. He's on a schedule, and he has to show up to all the races and collect all the points.
Okay.
And I've been following him for a number of years, and over the years I've done some work for him, and instead of trading dollars, he said, "What do I owe you?" And I'm looking at his race car, and I said, "A sticker on your car." So my company is on his car, and it runs around the country for the last few years with my name on his car. And I'm a racing geek, so woo, my name's on a car, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, last year he became champion, and that's kind of a nice title.
Yes.
When you got a friend of yours that you've known since way back when.
Uh-huh.
My dad used to sponsor his car, and my dad and his dad they raced, and my
Right.
dad sponsored his car. His dad's car is the same way as I'm kind of doing for Dennis. My dad built the car back then, the sheet metal part, but I'm doing heating and air for Dennis. And every time he leaves town, hey, something's broke, and we go fix it. So he does this style racing, this super late model. He becomes the champion, which, I mean, how cool is that?
Very cool.
I wanted to go there in November. In November, it got real windy. Right at the beginning of the month, we had a horrible windstorm. That was the day I was supposed to fly out to go see him collect the trophy that night.
Oh, wow.
And, he had a crazy season, won, 8 or 9 races, and huge.
Out of how many races?
I think it's like 56, 57 races. I mean, it's from North Dakota all the way down to Florida, East Coast, Southwest, I don't know, Texas. I think he goes to Texas or just maybe north of there. So it's all over the place. It's the World of Outlaws series. And, he won the whole thing last year. And it
Good
was
for him.
so cool. He came back. I got a champion hat. You only get a champion hat by knowing the champion.
It's good. It's good to know the people up there.
It really is. So when NASCAR went to that track, the World of Outlaws were there the week before to pack the track. Does that make sense? Because you got all this dirt, and they got to make it good. So they want to run several series of cars around it before we get the 800 horsepower monsters on them. Is what it comes down to. And Dennis he doesn't really like it. It's cool to be at the track, but he said he really didn't like the track because it was just too much. It was just
too much dirt flying around.
I don't know. It was just the track in which it was. Those tracks, they change with the mud and the way they layer it and how wet it is or dry it is. Again, they're racers, so they understand all
certainly
that.
if you're in the stands, especially towards the field, in the front of the stands there, you're
getting
more likely you're going to get pelted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that happened to me. When I went to Santa Fe, where they were,
You were sitting in corner one.
Probably.
Yeah, that's a bad spot to sit because when they turn, okay, they're going. At Santa Fe, they were probably doing about 70 miles an hour, right at that corner. Okay, and then they got to turn left, and then they got to keep going left to go straight again to the next corner at 70 miles an hour. So the violence that you're getting the dirt in your face, but imagine going straight, and then all of a sudden turning. It's a few years ago. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
A few years ago, I go to Florida to watch Dennis race,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sitting in the pit area of the stands, and it's between corner 1 and 2. So I'm literally watching him and all the drivers drive right at me, and you can see the car go from forward to 90 degrees that way. It was insane. And I asked Dennis after I'm done, after he gets back, I said, do you lift? Do you go full throttle in that corner and then go around it? He says, we lift that quick. That quick.
Whew.
Just boop, boop. And they're off the pedal, on the pedal that quick, and it turns and it sets the car. Because they just, I say whip the wheel. I'm sure it's a little more graceful than that.
Sure.
But you see those cars, and on that track, he was probably doing 80 or 90 miles an hour. And again, the violence, because in that race, there was a big old dirt hole, because it's dirt. So you get this big old rut that these cars keep jumping into as they're going around the corner. And it gets worse and worse and worse. So now you're going straight. Now you got to turn and bounce over a dirt hole.
Oh, man.
It's insane what, and again, why do these guys do it? Adrenaline for racing. It's the adrenaline. It's why I'm here, Joel.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed my energy tonight. Definitely picked up.
You definitely
since walking in. I
absolutely. You're always on like a high energy level. There, so.
But you hit good subjects.
Hey, I try.
Yeah. Don't ask me to talk about flowers like this. I don't have that much to go on flowers. Okay.
Don't worry, I won't go there. So, all right. So, tell me your favorite track of all time.
My favorite track, drag racing 4 wide, Las Vegas. Couldn't keep up with Vegas, but I could keep up with the racetrack. I'll put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite NASCAR track, Talladega. Talladega, it's a great track. It's big, huge speeds, and the people that surround it are wonderful. The local town, because I didn't go where all the campers were. We hung out over here in this small little town, and the people there were just awesome. Just to meet, oh, you're here for the race kind of conversation. We went to a local place to where we got to meet the locals. And God, did I have fun out there with them. We played pool all night and made friends that I still have out there.
Great.
So that's why I say the racing community in whole is a pretty cool group of people overall. Because we're cheering for our guy. Ha, your guy went out. We're not going to fight about it.
Right.
It happens. Football, for some reason, they want to argue over this. I don't, and neither do we. Nobody,
right.
Like I said, I never met a jerk that was being a jerk at the racetrack. It could be a lot of jerks there. They just don't act like one when we're there. And that's, in this world, where can you get away from them? I go to the racetrack. Go back to, I could say in 2020 when the world was closed, the racetrack was open. In Indianapolis, I went 5 times with 3,000 people maximum at the racetrack. It was great because it's like going to the racetrack on a rainy day. That's how many people were there. Like it was going to rain in the next 5 minutes and everybody was gone. And then there's Russ hanging out at the racetrack.
Well, I mean, you're in the open air. You don't have to worry about
you have nitromethane in the air. It kills everything. A fly can't even live in that stuff. So
that fly on the wall. Whew,
Yep.
doesn't have a prayer.
Nope. So yeah, it's racing in general and all ends. Going to dirt, it could be any dirt track. I haven't been enough dirt tracks. Dennis could probably tell you, he likes winning at any racetrack, the kind that he wins at.
Okay, so before the break here, I do want to run a couple things by you because I know I took a few notes when we were talking off the air over the weekend.
Notes.
Well, hardly. It's more like chicken scratch
You
with me.
took notes on this. Okay.
Okay. So obviously, we talked about thrill, the acceleration. I mean that's obviously a given here, but you related a story to me regarding was it John Force?
Number 1 driver in drag racing.
Huh?
He's the Dale Earnhardt of drag racing. The Michael Jordan of drag racing. He's been racing. I'm wearing his hat. Says 150 wins.
Yep.
And it's got 5 little slashes over here because he's got 155 wins now. The next closest guy retired, I don't know, probably 10, 15 years ago with 89 wins. And he was a hell of a racer to win 89 times. John Force is on his 155th win. He went 10 years consecutively champion. Consecutive.
Amazing.
He was, I mean, driver of the year. To get driver of the year in auto racing, you beat Indy, you beat NASCAR, you beat go-kart, you beat snowmobile, you beat motocross, you beat everybody. And after 10 championships in a row, he got driver of the year. And the records and things that he has done over his career, completely amazing. You know, he's got story after story on when he crashes. You know, I shared, I seen Elvis.
Right.
I seen Elvis down in Memphis. He was on fire, and he had to wrestle that car to stop it. He got out. I don't know what happened. I saw Elvis though, and I'm fine. You know, he's a crazy interview.
Oh my gosh.
Me personally, I had a mission. I'll call it. My dad sent me on a mission. He passed away in 2003. Sent me on a mission. His last wish, he wanted to be cremated and put in John Force's parachute. Now, I won't say that John put him in his parachute. I will say I took a bag of my dad's ashes to the racetrack and maybe handed them to a certain guy that was going to go down the racetrack. And then that certain guy
just going to put it there.
Got out, and when the race was over, they said, "How'd you do that? Become #1 driver and run 5 100s off of my dad's heart transplant number." My dad's heart transplant number is 490.
Right.
John ran 485.5. That's pretty close to 490.
Yeah.
Okay. Gets out of the car. "How'd you do that, John? You're out of the groove, blah, blah, blah." "I don't know. I had this guy in the trunk with me." And I knew, guess who's in the trunk? Called the parachute, because the trunk on his car would be the parachute. So he's telling me on this broadcast from the racetrack, "Yeah, I had this guy in the trunk with me." That's how I did it. That was my dad. And that was at one of the biggest drag racing events that they held every year, and it was amazing. And it was at the 49th running of it, too.
49th running.
He ran a 4.855, and my dad's heart transplant number is 490. It was close. It was real close. And then it rained. Rained the entire weekend out. He became #1 qualifier, and the entire weekend was washed out after that.
Wow.
They ran it for the second time in history the following weekend. So you had to be there. You had to be there to see that happen.
Absolutely.
It's a very special moment. I've ran into one person that was there since that was in 2003. It's pretty cool to do, too.
That is a cool story. All right. So when we come back, we're going to kind of wrap things up with the racing here. We also still have the Freak of the Week coming up here, along with this day in
Freaky
that,
Week.
huh?
Freaky Week.
Hey, I may even let you help out here. We'll see. But again, this is 88.3 WHCM, the J&R show for tonight. We'll be back in a flash.
Do you know what time it is? It's time to turn that dial to Erica's Mixtape, where you'll hear a variety of music such as hard rock, indie rock, and classic rock. You'll also hear a variety of amazing guests every Tuesday, 1 to 3 p.m. here on WHCM 88.3 FM, radio done differently.
Let's state the obvious. You're ready to get started at Harper College. At Harper, 100% of your classes will be taught by expert faculty, and Harper is accredited by the HLC, same as U of I and Northwestern University. And even better than those two colleges, you could save up to $63,000 on the cost of your bachelor's degree when you start at Harper first. Classes begin soon. Visit harpercollege.edu/start to find out more today.
88.3 WHCM, Harper College Radio.
This is Jeff, the driving force behind Dexter's Radio Hour, where every Monday and Friday evening at 6 p.m. you will experience the mind-altering force of genre-bending rock and roll, and whatever this is.
After that,
what was that?
I don't know. But yeah, that some of these promotions, promos here is like potent, very potent.
Yeah, it was different.
Yeah, very different.
But good segue to where we're going.
Oh yes. So we are talking Freak of the Week. This is a weekly bit that Jared and I normally do. We find random stories on the internet that we may find usually funny, some once in a while serious, depending on the context. Obviously freaky, hence Freak of the Week. And Russ, you told me you had a real good one for me.
It's real basic.
Oh.
It's a freaky story. I mean, we'll keep it with the automotive.
Go for it.
I have an orb that hangs out with me. I'm a haunted guy, as we know, if you listened before.
Oh, yes.
And we've mentioned it here. We like the haunted side of the world. And
freaks me out all the time I talk about it.
Yeah. Well, good one, Joe.
Yep.
I sit there in my truck. It don't matter. I could be idling or just driving down the road with my arm hanging out or whatever.
Right.
And then the window just goes up. It goes down. Goes halfway up. Might go all the way down. Might go halfway. And I sit there. You'll be driving out down the road and all of a sudden the window goes up. You're like, hey! And you got to move the arm. It's kind of weird. I've had people. Now, I talk to my guys. I'm sitting in the truck, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden, do that whole elbow thing because I'm just casually talking to them. And I'll go, look, guys, no hands. My window's going up and down. And they're a little freaked out by it. They get a little freaked out, and then they step away from the truck, and we don't talk there anymore. So, yeah, there's my freak story.
Oh, my God. Russ, you're going to love this one here. A zebra runs loose in Seoul, Korea, before being taken back to the zoo. Yeah.
And was he okay?
The zebra, a male named Siro.
Wait, where was this at?
This was in Seoul, Korea.
Seoul, Korea. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A zebra got out of its cage.
A male named Siro walked 4 hours in the busy streets of South Korea's capital before emergency workers tranquilized the animal and brought it back to a zoo.
4 hours.
4 hours.
What were they doing for 3 hours?
I don't know.
I mean, they know it wandering around. How long does it take to 4 hours?
Well,
you got to get the right tranquilizer. What's going on there? You got to get a good assembly of guys.
Well, let me see. There may be more to the story here. Choi Yeera, an official at the Children's Grand Park in Seoul, said the zoo was investigating how the zebra managed to escape.
Well, yeah, that'd be the first thing to figure out.
Right.
Patch that little hole in his fence.
She didn't immediately confirm media reports that the animal partially destroyed the wooden fencing surrounding its pen before busting out around 2:50 p.m. Social media, of course, was flowing with smartphone videos of the zebra trotting along lines of cars that were waiting for the green light at an intersection and galloping through a street surrounded by commercial buildings, and pedestrians stopped and gasped.
Yeah. He couldn't
Police
believe
and emergency
he was
workers.
downtown. He's been trying to get there for years, probably.
Yeah, really. Police and emergency workers managed
Heard a lot
to corner.
about it.
So the police and emergency workers managed to corner the zebra after it entered a narrow alleyway between houses and then shot it with the tranquilizers, ending its 3 hours of freedom.
Wow. Back in stripes he is. Back behind bars he goes.
Indeed.
No zebras were harmed here.
No zebras were hurt during this little escapade, right? Okay, so this one here, are you a wine drinker?
I am.
You are.
Yes.
I think you will actually. This one may make you laugh. It may make you cry. We'll see. Overturned.
Wine makes me fall asleep, so be careful.
Okay, well, make sure you're not behind the wheel.
No, never.
Speaking of behind the wheel, an overturned truck
Uh-oh.
spills 10,000 wine bottles onto a California highway.
That's abuse.
Is it?
It is. It's a lot of wine going down.
Yeah, too much whining.
There's
The
a lot of
California
whining
Highway
going on
Patrol,
there.
the California Highway Patrol said cleanup crews were summoned to a stretch of the highway.
How long
when
did
a-
it take for them to get there? Does it say? You know, it took 4 hours to get somebody to clean up after a zebra. How long does it take to get the crew up to get the wine cleaned up?
We haven't even got to that part yet. You're
I'm sure it's coming.
you are racing
See,
ahead
I
here.
am racing ahead.
You are
again.
racing ahead.
Sorry, Joe. I'll slow down.
No, you're not.
I'll throw it in low gear. All right.
Okay. So the California Highway Patrol said cleanup crews were summoned to a stretch of highway when a truck overturned and spilled its load of about 10,000 empty wine bottles. Empty wine bottles. I did not see that one coming. The CHP's Santa Rosa office said the truck overturned on Highway 101 near Heldsburg, and the trailer ripped open, spilling its load of 10,000 empty wine bottles into the highway, or the roadway. This is where you cry because there's no wine.
Yeah.
No
You're
other
gonna need
vehicles.
wine after you clean up all that glass.
You think? No other vehicles were involved, and the driver was not injured, fortunately.
So how did he tip over? He was just
He
driving
could-
down
I think he was just driving too fast.
He was driving down a stretch of road, so let's assume it's straight. And
Probably had to make a sudden turn.
No other vehicles were around him. Yeah, because that guy who cut him off took off.
Probably jackknifed. Anyways, the cause of the crash was unclear, according to them.
Under investigation.
Crews responded to clean up the mess and repair a guardrail.
Oh.
They
sounds like they did a lot of
There's
work that
actually a
afternoon.
picture of it. There is a picture of it. I mean, you can't see it.
I
here,
can't
but-
see it.
Yeah, but I'll hand this to you afterwards. Here.
All right. You can
But
even hold it up to the
they
window.
actually took a picture of this.
Little disaster.
Yeah. Yep. And that's all I've got for Freak of the Week. So the other, let's see here. What are we? I'm getting messages here left and right here. Let's see who's trying to talk to me here.
Are we getting live?
Oh yeah. Okay. So Jared, like I say, he's listening to the show, right?
Sure.
Let's see here.
So the guy that's listening to the show is texting us.
Yeah.
Jared. Hi, Jared.
Yep. Hello, Jared. Let's see. He says, "Can you mention on air John from Las Vegas? It's my okay. Jared's father is John, lives in Vegas.
Oh, hi,
Yep.
John in Vegas.
Yeah.
Should we both say hi, John in Vegas?
Hey, John, how you doing?
In Vegas.
In Vegas.
I like Vegas.
You love Vegas.
I
have yet to go to Vegas.
Really?
Erica's been to Vegas more than me.
I don't think you should go to Vegas, Joe.
Well, I'd be going there to visit my money anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, you better have
What
some
money?
to go.
Right. Right.
They don't take coupons, but you can play on pennies.
Yeah. So. So let's see. He went on to say here. Thanks what my dad used. I think he mentioned Elmer Musgrove. I'm not sure if that's someone that he knows here, and he was, I guess Elmer Musgrove. I guess it says here. I guess Jarrett's dad used to go, to in Wilmont.
Mm-hmm.
Elmer Musgrove. And
Wilmot, there's a
I
dirt
guess
track
John.
out
I guess
there.
John was also Richard Petty's limo driver when he drove.
Okay. Okay.
So I guess that's
That's his connection.
That's his claim to fame. I guess with NASCAR.
I tell you what, you hung out with somebody called Richard Petty. That's not such a bad group to be around.
Yep. And also from the 847, namely Fran. So she's actually listening to us too.
Hello, Fran.
And she wants to go, by the way.
Okay.
Yep. She wants to cry.
Okay.
So
crying will be. I would enjoy crying with Fran.
Right.
She would totally get it.
She wants to see the jet car for sure.
Yeah, we could do that, but they don't let us that close. We'll go to the Grove for the jet car.
Ah, okay. Yeah. So
recommend earplugs and a crash helmet. Yep. Yep.
Oh man! Oh man.
Yep. Yep. Better be checked for brains before you get there.
Brains, yeah. You're probably going to lose a few brain cells, right? The nitro alone is probably going to kill some brain cells.
Yeah, well, jet cars run on jet fuel. It's just jet fuel, like a kerosene.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the fume of them isn't bad. So it's just the sound, the sound of breaking the sound barrier, that one. No big deal.
No, easy for you to say. How many years you been doing this?
I only did it twice, Joe. I only did it twice.
Oh, man.
I don't know if I'd go back a third time.
Really?
It's that insane. It
can
really
imagine.
is. It's. I've never been to war, but if that's what war is like, I'd never last 10 minutes because this thing was just boom, 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 and it was nuts. It was gone in 6 seconds, so it went away pretty quick.
Right.
300 miles an hour,
Uh-huh.
big parachute, because they don't have good brakes on those things at all. So yeah, but yeah, Fran, let's make it a party.
I'm sure she's all game here.
Maybe we can get Hunter out of the house that day.
We'll see. It is 8:28 here at WHCM 88.3 FM, and again, the thoughts and ideas presented on our show are our own and not necessarily reflective of the opinions of WHCM. But as I said before, we're not really talking about opinions tonight. We're talking racing.
Yep.
And a few other things in between, namely the etc part. So we'll be back here in a flash here where we're going to kind of wrap things up here real soon. Here we got about a little bit over a half hour left here. We still have the This Day in History coming up, and also we'll get maybe a few final questions in here regarding Russ's love of racing here. But in the meantime, and of course, all of everything I wanted to go and use for commercials are like all of a sudden gone.
I didn't hit that button.
No,
you can't blame me.
Nope, this was not you. But that's okay. I have other ways here. So
sure you do.
Of course, we'll be right back.
Let's state the obvious. You're ready to get started at Harper College. At Harper, 100% of your classes will be taught by expert faculty, and Harper is accredited by the HLC, same as U of I and Northwestern University. And even better than those two colleges, you could save up to $63,000 on the cost of your bachelor's degree when you start at Harper first. Classes begin soon. Visit harpercollege.edu/start to find out more today.
Are you interested in the apprenticeship program offered here at Harper College? Well, come to the apprenticeship program information session where you can learn more about the program offered at Harper College. The event will be held here at campus on Tuesday, April 4th from 6 to 7 p.m. at Building W, where we walked in from here, at the Wojcik Building Center. If you want to know more on how to register for the apprenticeship program, go to events.harpercollege.edu for more information.
Hey there, listener. Do you enjoy listening to genres like indie and alt-rock? Do you enjoy listening to bands and artists like Gorillaz and Spoon? Well, you are in luck, because The Die with Brian D has got you covered. My show features a wide variety of artists and bands to listen to. Want to tune in? Well, make sure to be there every Wednesday from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. on 88.3 WHCM Harper Radio. Radio done differently.
You can be a hero by being prepared for an emergency. First, make a plan. Call a family meeting to plan for things like how to connect with loved ones after an emergency or your escape route. I am not fast. Build a kit. When disaster strikes, it's important to have enough supplies to last 3 days. And don't forget the batteries.
Low battery.
Visit ready.gov/kids for more preparedness tips. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
We are back. It is 8:31 here at WHCM 88.3 FM here, and I'm going to give you guys I'm going to give you a quick weather update as well as a sports update. I know Russ's favorite subject. So for our sports nuts here, especially people who are following the Bulls, the Bulls are down 70 to 55 in the third quarter with 7:19 left.
Ooh.
I mean,
They're down.
They are down.
They're down. It's not a couple there, Joe. They're down.
Well, It happened when they were playing Philadelphia. They clobbered Philadelphia in Philly. They come back to Chicago, and all of a sudden we get thumped. So I mean, I won't even go there with
team
the Bulls.
playing.
Huh?
Did we leave somebody in Philly? Did we forget?
Who knows it?
Did we forget the playbook?
No, we forgot the defense.
Oh, is that?
See, that's what happens with a mediocre team here. The mediocre team just doesn't play defense very well.
Okay.
It irritates me to no end.
Okay.
But we won't really get into that so much here. But
how about baseball? What baseball do?
Well, opening day is tomorrow.
Nice.
For both the Cubs and the Sox. So unfortunately, I'll be at work.
The weather will be nice for it, though.
Yes, and then it's going to snow on Friday or Saturday. Actually, no, it's supposed to snow on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
rain
boy.
on Friday. Well, tomorrow's rain. Is tomorrow Friday? No, tomorrow's. Yeah, tomorrow's Friday.
Let's see
isn't
here.
it, Joel?
So
Catch up.
Yeah, here's the weather forecast here.
Thursday.
So for the rest of tonight here, it's going to be clear with periodic clouds.
Okay.
Low of 24.
Answers a lot of questions for me.
Yep. Thursday, it's going to be cloudy, around 53. Low of
not bad.
49. And then, they've updated it here. Friday, March 31st here is actually going to get up to about 66 degrees.
Hey.
But there's going to be thunderstorms.
Well,
so
April shower brings May flowers.
So they say.
Yes.
April Fool's Day, 60% chance of snow showers.
Oh, boy.
Yep, that's the S word I just love to hate.
Yep.
High of 42. And then April 2nd on Sunday, it's going to be partly cloudy, up around 58.
Well, we have a holiday on Monday. What's the weather on Monday?
Monday, April 3rd?
Yep.
What holiday is that?
My birthday.
Is that your birthday?
It is
oh,
my
that's
birthday.
right.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're hitting the
I'm
Ocho?
I'm hitting my stride.
You're hitting your stride. Yeah, I keep telling yourself that.
I'm going up in levels. I'm not getting any older. I'm getting levels now. They sound better. I will be turning level 53.
You're catching up to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
You'll stay ahead of me, I'm sure.
Until the day I die.
Yep.
Well, okay, so hate to rain on your parade like that.
Oh.
A rain on your birthday, more or less. It's going to be scattered showers, high of 59.
Hey, I'll take 60. Scattered
Hey,
showers.
you got to take it to go with the bed.
Hey,
You're a glass half full kind of guy anyway, right?
Scattered. They might be scattered north. They might be scattered south. I live right in the middle of it all.
This is true. So do we.
We'll be fine.
Hey, you know how many snowstorms have missed us this
Yes.
year? I mean, we got off scot-free this year.
I can tell you how many. My girlfriend lives up near 173, Richmond area. Okay, the ice storm. I was completely thawed out because I live in Dundee. I'm completely thawed out. There is no snow. I go up there. It's still Iceland. She had ice on her trees for 4 days.
I don't doubt it.
And then got hit with the snowstorm. And I'm not shoveling. Nah, I'm good. She's out there shoveling snow that's wet and heavy.
Yeah, we went up to Wisconsin last month, and we were driving. We take the back roads here, so we took Route 12 up to.
Why the back roads? Better way to travel. They make highways for a reason.
Well, first of all, once we got on to the Wisconsin border, and we it was highway most of the way there.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah, I mean,
just want to make sure you're not taking like 2-lane roads all the way up to, 6 hours north. It took you 6 hours because you were on a 2-lane road.
It only took us 2 hours to get there. First of all,
Okay.
but I got to tell you like I said, there was really no snow out by us here, but you go up into Wisconsin. I mean, they had just had an ice storm there, and you could see all the trees were just hanging.
Yep, hanging crystals off of them. It looked pretty.
It was very pretty.
It did a lot of damage though. Did a lot of damage.
I don't doubt that here.
Like,
So
she's been in that area. It's like a snow globe, is because it just comes from the west, and it trucks right through and it's missed us. We've gotten hit twice, 3 times with snow.
If that.
I think
mean,
the
only reason why I'm bummed about it. I mean, again, the only reason why I'm bummed about it is because we invested in a new snowblower.
Oh God!
And this was an electric one. It was not even a gas powered one. It was an electric one.
So you're going to run an extension cord in the middle of the snow?
No, not like that.
Okay.
Not like that. These are like lithium battery powered.
Okay.
But really only had to use it like twice.
Yeah.
So it's like really, I don't feel like I got my money's worth.
Joel, it's going to snow again.
This is true.
Just save the batteries. Put the batteries inside.
Oh yeah, I learned that lesson
Yep.
very quickly because we have a sunroom, and I originally had kept the batteries thing in the sunroom. It's like that was a mistake.
Yeah, you don't want to cook the batteries.
Yep. I got smart. The light bulb came eventually. So
The electric circuit kicked in and battery lit up the light bulb.
well, it's more or less. Hunter hit me on the back of the head. It's like, Dad.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like
Dad
like,
or
duh.
Fran. Dad or Fran, one of them.
No, it was Hunter. So okay, so obviously we know your love of racing.
Mm-hmm.
I also know of your love of Halloween.
Yep.
And
What's going on with Halloween?
Tell me.
Boy, if I knew something, I would have to tell somebody because the excitement of it all would kill me.
I'll bet.
I could say in January we went to the convention down in St. Louis because
Okay.
I'm friends with somebody that wants to build a haunted house. So I'm in the process of going, run, don't run. Run, we have a space, but there's not a haunted anything in it right now.
Right.
And you know me, Joel. It should already been built and designed by now.
Exactly.
And we should probably have costumes by now, too.
Yeah.
Maybe. So, that being said, they're trying to produce something. I don't know if we're going to this year. I would like to. If anybody can make it happen, we'll make it happen. Because it's not a matter of trying that's going to stop us.
So is this going to be like a one-off night or something, or is this going to for the whole entire month of October?
Yeah, this will be actual haunted house that we're working on in the Hoffman Estates area. Is that Hoffman Estates? Yeah, Hoffman Estates area.
My neck of the woods.
Yep. So it'll be actually it's not Hoffman Estates, it's Barrington. I got to get that right. I really should get the location right.
Is it in the Arboretum like where you were at last year?
It will be in the Arboretum.
Oh, that's right. Hey, I remember you were telling me isn't there like a storefront there that you were going to use?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ooh.
All 15,000 square feet of it. You know how big the barn was?
I do.
3,000.
Wow. Okay. Now you got me excited.
Yep. We have 5 times the room that we had in that barn. 15-foot ceilings with power and heat.
Power, heat works. Yes.
Air conditioning. If the heat and air don't work, I know a guy who can fix that real quick.
Hey,
real quick.
I think you need to call Dundee Air Heating and Air.
Dundee Heating and Air would be a good start.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're working on that. I hope to have something with that because the entertainment of the haunt world is another passion of mine. It was kind of scary though going to this convention. It's
scary. I like that little scary. That was good.
It is.
Wait, you didn't even know you said it.
We go to St. Louis. It's this big convention,
right?
And there's probably, it's a McCormick Place size convention. It's huge. And there's rows of haunted house everything. And Saturday, I went to a class, and it was a class of how to do everything for a haunted house, from your storyboard design to your final ticket sold. I got an anxiety attack listening to it.
You got an anxiety attack.
There's a lot there, Joel. From your storyboard to design it, now go build it, prop it, light it, get the guy like you that can jump around and do what I want you to do. Because I've been thinking about it for the last 4 months. Why can't you do this?
Sure.
Right? Don't tell me that makeup bothers you. Put on a mask. I don't know what to tell you. It's production.
I want results, not excuses.
Right.
Yeah.
So watching all that, it drove me nuts because I've been out of it since 15 at that level.
Has it been that long?
Yeah. It's been 8 years since I've done anything in the haunt world that I was in charge of. Now, last year we did Nightmare. They're already planning on Nightmare on Chicago Street this year. They have announced a date for it, so they are going to do it again this year, Chicago Street. I'd like to be involved with that. On what level? I don't know. Same level as what we were. I'd like the trailer only. I don't want to bop over there and over there and over there. I want to sit at the trailer and screw people up.
I'll bet.
You know, we know how to do that.
Oh.
I think you sat in the chair all night.
Oh yeah. Hey, my head's still ringing for that one.
It's so.
I remember the crazies that we had that night too.
Just a couple. Just a couple that night. You know, but there's always in that world. There's always a couple crazies. You know, this is why we have security right outside our door, right?
Oh yeah, Rent the Cop was real helpful.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He could shine a flashlight real good at. We won't even go there.
Yeah,
let's not go there. But yeah, there's lots of things going on for Halloween. And why are we talking Halloween in April? Because Halloween starts for people that are in Halloween November 1st.
Exactly.
You know, we start in November. We kind of take a little bit of Christmas and Thanksgiving time off. After first year, you want to go running. You got to start running because there is a lot to do in a haunted house between January and October. You know, the guys up north, I could say there's another haunt that I follow up north, really great haunt, and they're in the process of redesigning a big part of their haunt, which should be fabulous. It's called Can I say the place?
Go for it.
Dungeons of Doom.
I was going to say, you're going to say Dungeons of Doom, weren't you?
Yep, up in
They're
Zion.
redesigning it again.
Yep. He's done some big things with it. I can't.
I
don't want to divulge, but I was there when they were in the designing phases of it.
Don't spoil. But I remember the first time I went to Dungeon of Doom. I mean, yeah, the lines was
forever
long. I mean, I think we stood in line for a good, probably 4 or 5 hours, and I'm probably being generous when I say that.
Where did you see them? Was that Lake County?
This is when they were still at Lake County.
Okay.
And my first experience, and I had gone there like a couple times, but my first experience here, their climax was this big Mack truck coming at you full speed ahead there with the big horns. Bad impression of it, but you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was just something. Then, to top it off, I think the year after that, they had implemented Getting Buried Alive.
Oh yeah, still have Buried Alive.
I'm sure they do.
Yep.
Yes. That was a thrill.
Great feature. Great feature.
Yeah. If you're claustrophobic, folks, I would probably stay away from that.
Yep. Buried Alive. It's a once. It's kind of like getting nitroed. You got to try it once.
Mm-hmm.
You might not go back a second time, but you got to try it at least once.
Yeah.
So. Joel says, "Yeah." You weren't entertained, Joel. Did it make you feel uncomfortable?
What, the Buried Alive or the Nitro? I haven't
Buried
done
Alive.
Nitro.
Buried Alive.
Actually, I thought it was kind of cool. I mean, I'm trying to remember how Fran felt about it here. I think she was. I think the first time, I think she was a little bit uneasy.
Well, you know why? That's what it's supposed to do.
I realize that's the point of it here.
Yeah,
but
that's Buried Alive. It's kind of like pretending. You're
Right.
in a giant jumpy house with those balls that they allow us to play in at McDonald's.
Right.
And it is. It's uncomfortable, but that's what we're psychedelically supposed to do to you while you're inside. Do you ever mess with people inside of a haunted house?
Have I mean as a
And
customer?
as an actor?
Oh, I did numerous times here with your haunts.
Yeah, so you understand the entertainment value of doing that.
Oh, of course.
That's why we're going. That's why they're paying us to do that, Joel.
Hey, it's
Can you please
more or less easy money.
Well, it's not easy money because
okay.
it takes a lot to get there.
This is true.
And you only got 30 days to make it. So, the right everything, it's easy money.
Mm-hmm.
The right everything. Make
Right.
sure every cast and crew show up on every day that you need them.
Exactly.
That helps. What do you mean we don't have that? That's the main thing.
Exactly.
I mean, imagine Freddie not showing up.
Oh my God.
Freddie not
imagine Morbid not showing up.
Yeah, Freddie or Morbid.
Oh.
It wouldn't have been a show.
The world would come to an end.
On that show, probably would have.
Yep.
They never missed a show in 5 years. So that's
impressive. That's
pretty
impressive.
pretty good record.
Well, I got to take a final break here, or they're going to come over here. Sure, Erica's going to come over here and beat me. So
No, Erica, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that to Dad. Especially if you still want to live at home. 88.3 FM, it's 8:47. We'll be back in a flash.
Want to know a not-so-fun fact? The most common lie in America is, "Don't worry, I'm fine." It's alright if you're not. And you're not alone if you're not. It's been an insane year, and everyone's having a hard time. If you need the help, call 1-800-273-8255. Sooner or later, it is going to get better. Trust me.
Well, hi there, people of the Earth. My name is Richie, and I am a space and time traveler that has come to this little planet for one purpose only: to fill your day with good vibes, which is why I created the Group Machine, a device that can stimulate the human brain in order to cause feelings of joy and euphoria. So come check out my show, Richie's Group Machine, every Friday at 5 p.m. at WHCM 88.3 FM or HarperRadio.com.
It's your boy DJ Double Dip, and you are listening to the award-winning WHCM 88.3 FM, Palatine, Illinois, a broadcast station of Harper College and its Board of Trustees, celebrating 20 years on air at Harper College.
Well, it's actually more like 23 years now, because that was from like 2020. It is 8:48 here at the 100-watt Circle of Friends, the 88.3 FM WHCM, the J&R show for tonight. Joel and Russ here have been talking about everything from racing to Halloween, back to racing, freak of the week. We still have actually one last segment I do have to quickly do, because it's usually part of my repertoire. Okay, France texts me. Okay.
Okay.
She said,
like I said,
did you forget that Erica and I went last year? Erica and Fran went to the Dungeon of Doom last year. She's basically telling me here. It's like, sorry, Fran. Of course you did.
Yes.
Anyway, so let's see. So Jarrett was kind enough here on his day off here to send me this day in history. See, we went and did it last week, Russ, and had a little trouble here. It was because he only printed off the headlines where you were actually able to click on these headlines and actually read them in a little more detail.
Okay.
Yeah. And of course,
you can't click on them to get the headline even.
Well, I can, but I'm trying to find.
What?
He sent it. Well, he sent it to me, and here it is. I started. I put a star on it here, but I get so much email.
Yep.
A lot of it's usually junk here. So on this day in history, on March 29th, 1973,
Good year.
U.S. withdraws from Vietnam.
Yep.
2 months after the signing of the Vietnam Peace Agreement, the last U.S. combat troops leave South Vietnam as Hanoi frees the remaining American prisoners of war held in North Vietnam. America's direct 8-year intervention in the Vietnam War was at an end. In Saigon, some of the 7,000 U.S. Department of Defense civilian employees remained behind to aid South Vietnam in conducting what looked to be a fierce and ongoing war with the communist North Vietnam. Anyways, enough of that.
Next day in history.
Right. So let's see what's here.
What else you got?
Well, let's see here. 1982.
Let's see. What was I doing? March.
What
of
were you
82.
doing in this day in 1982?
March of '82. I was probably on spring break, hanging out with my buddies.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not sure if you know this. I mean, you know who Michael Jordan is, right?
Sure.
Of course.
He was drafted probably no.
Well, actually, he was a freshman back in North Carolina, and he hits the winning shot to give North Carolina the NCAA title.
His first of many buzzer beaters.
Exactly. He was 19 years old then.
Wow.
So he hits a 16-foot jump shot with 15 seconds left to give the Tar Heels a 63-62 win over Georgetown for the NCAA tournament championship. To tell the truth, George tells reporters in New Orleans afterward, I didn't see it go in. I didn't want to look. The winning shot cements Jordan in the national consciousness, and he goes on to become one of the greatest basketball players in history with 6 NBA titles with the Chicago Bulls.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good feel-good story.
Yeah,
here.
that is.
Yeah.
Never knew. Well, I knew. Didn't he do the same thing at Georgetown? Didn't he go to Georgetown and?
No, it was in North Carolina. He beat Georgetown.
Okay, beat George. Okay.
Yeah.
But didn't he have a buzzer beater there too, or was that the buzzer beater you were just talking about?
That I think that was the buzzer beater.
Okay. I thought he just went to a bigger school, but he didn't, huh?
North Carolina.
Don't get any
Michael
bigger.
Jordan.
Yeah.
In space exploration, 1974. You and I were
Where
both
was
a
I?
couple of little kids.
Where was I in '74?
I was 5.
I was just barely riding my bike in '74, I think.
Actually, let's see. No, 74. I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
I was 4 years old.
Just hanging out. We didn't probably know him doing a whole lot there.
Yep. So a U.S. space probe, Mariner, visited Mercury.
Oh.
Isn't that interesting?
Get
An
any
unmanned
numbers?
U.S. space probe, Mariner 10, launched by NASA in November of 1973, becomes the first spacecraft to visit the planet Mercury, sending back close-up images of a celestial body usually obscured because of its proximity to the sun.
Can't see it.
Yeah. Interesting.
Did we find intelligent life there? We're running out of it here. We got to find something soon.
Yeah. Good luck with that. Speaking of which, here I would have liked to have seen the five planets yesterday.
I didn't catch it.
Yeah. Well, neither did a lot of people here because there were clouds.
Right. Yeah, it was a little cloudy. I caught the 2 last week, a couple weeks ago. Venus and Jupiter when they were hanging out real close to each other. I thought it was 2 planes, and then I got my glasses on, and they weren't blinking after all. It was much clearer.
Oh my gosh!
It was much easier to see. Are those airplanes, honey? It wasn't. It looked like they were blinking. I thought they were satellites.
Yes.
Blurry satellites.
I caught a glimpse of Saturn last summer. Trying to remember if I was in my backyard or where, but it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not a big space junkie, but I love watching on YouTube. Because we're on YouTube Live here. But I love watching videos of the rocket ships going up and everything. Here, it's just kind of cool. I mean, I was a complete geek when Artemis 1 went up. Because being able to see firsthand the return visit to the moon.
Right.
That was just cool. I mean, I can't wait for 2024.
Right. They're going to do it again, right?
Artemis 2 is going to be the first manned space flight. Well, not the first man, but it's good. They're going to be sending 4 people, around the moon in 2024, and then their first landing, I think, is going to be sometime in 2025.
Wow!
So if we both live that long,
right? If we make it that far, we'll be able to see this stuff happen.
One day at a time.
There's a plan. Yeah, we got to get through next week before we can start work.
Please, I got to get through tomorrow, let alone the rest of the
I'm
day.
going for next week already. I'm done with this week, Joe. This week is scheduled. I'm over it.
Are you?
Yep. Scheduled. We're done.
Well, yeah, we are pretty much almost done. So I certainly want to thank my guest, Russ GEMINN, for making a return visit to us here, talking racing and Halloween and all that good stuff. As always here, you're welcome back anytime.
Enjoy it.
We'll see what happens here next fall. I also want to thank my producer, V, for helping out with Freak of the Week. And also, you're thinking of, who's V, right?
Yeah, they're here somewhere, right?
Or
is her paper here?
No. V is a person. Hard to pronounce her name, so she goes by V.
Okay.
Of course, thanks to my partner in crime, who is not here in person, but is here via listening to us on the radio, Jarrett Tafada. He's taken a much-deserved week off, and we're both going to get a much-deserved another week off next week, as the WHCM is going through some transformation. They are playing on. If you look at the studio here, you see in the background everything that you see behind me, not going to be there next month. It's being turned into an office, and they are actually moving our studio into a different part of the station. So it's going to be pretty exciting stuff. But in any case, I will be seeing you here in a couple of weeks here with the J&J Etc Show. My name again is Joel Berger, and
I'm Russ.
And Russ. Yeah, the J&R show for tonight. So have everybody a very pleasant evening. And
good night.
Yep. Let's say good.
Keep
I
saying.
can't keep saying good night.
Keep rolling. Can't say good night yet.
Well,
he's got to find the button again.
Hey, I just want to make sure I do things the right way here, because
right.
we want our YouTube thing here to actually stick.
Oh, okay. So you got to save that part.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
But everybody in Radioland and Harper Radioland, have a great night.
You can be a hero by being prepared for an emergency. First, make a plan. Call a family meeting to plan for things like how to connect with loved ones after an emergency or your escape route.
I am not fast.
Build a kit. When disaster strikes, it's important to have enough supplies to last 3 days. And don't forget the batteries.
Low battery.
Visit ready.gov/kids